Jack's training is inspired by his adventures from racing, treasure hunting, and being an explosives specialist on television. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been in the business for 23 years. I've never introduced anyone who's with the word explosives. All right, now check out Jack's latest television project, Pirate Gold of Attic Island. It's going to be released on Netflix on June 29th. Is that impressive? Jack's presentation is Goliath Killer. Sharpen your aim, slay your giant, achieve extraordinary performance. Ladies and gentlemen, like I mentioned before, he's an explosives expert. Let's give him an extraordinary welcome.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, everyone. 1,000 years BC, a young shepherd transitions into greatness. David encountered Goliath while he was bringing his older brother's lunch while they were out on a military campaign. Goliath could be heard taunting the soldiers, "Who is brave enough to fight me?" No one accepted the challenge except for David. A battle ensued, and with a sling and a rock, the mighty Goliath fell, and David rose to be the next king. We all have a giant to slay. What's yours? And how will you sharpen your aim to do so? Regardless of where you're at now, there's always actions that we can take to help transition to where we want to be. But like David, we will need courage and commitment to overcome our obstacles and reach our goals. And there's a lot of different ways to define success. One of the ways I define it is, how many times can you have a once-in-a-lifetime moment all the time? You know, those opportunities where you can do the extraordinary and it changes your life. Can you all think of the last time you had one of those moments? Would you like to have another? You can. I'll never forget one of the first times I had a big opportunity. I was sitting at my desk, a little down, just waiting for something to happen. I was overlooking a sea of files as a reminder of all the irons I had in the fire, but nothing was coming together. And then the phone rang. A man called, and he introduced himself as a television producer. He started asking me questions, and finally he asked me, "Would you like to go to an exotic location, join a team of professional treasure hunters, use explosives, and look for about $1 billion of lost treasure?" I thought, I think we can work something out. So now since then, I've had a few of those moments. And I'm telling you, once you have one, you just want to have a more, just to enjoy that experience. So if you would like to have your own transition, I would like to help you. Sound good? Are you ready? Let's get started. Successful people think differently. They often do more because they believe that they can. They also do not let mistakes stop them. They understand that mistakes are part of a natural learning cycle. They carry on until they get it right. And positive thinking is essential, but no one has wished themselves to success. They understand the critical theory of cause and effect, meaning the correct action taken right now will help propel them to reach their goals later. They also follow a system to help keep them on track, and that is following proven principles of success. Now, one of the giants that I'm trying to slay is I'm trying to get companies to stop using outdated philosophies from the turn of the century. In 1911, Frederick Taylor introduced his theory of scientific management. He used flawed case studies and long, complicated mathematical equations to try to show employees that were considered dumb and lazy could be programmed like machines for greater efficiency. Over 100 years later, many companies still follow the same outdated thinking. I'm asking you to give up old school concepts of workers and bosses and start thinking more efficiently in a format that would more closely resemble your favorite sports team. My victory trifecta is leadership, teamwork, and innovation. This trifecta is one of your best weapons to slay your giant. It starts with leadership. What are you going to do and why? Leadership is critical because the organization doesn't outperform their leader. Second is teamwork. This is how you're going to do something and with who. Who will you recruit that has the proper skill set to be able to get the job done? The third thing is innovation. How will you do something just a little bit better than everyone else so you can be competitive? It starts with asking questions like, how do we do our job better? Knowing that even small little improvements can add up to be a huge competitive advantage. Now, those of you who know me know I love racing. Here is a racing example from the legendary Carroll Shelby. He wanted to build a race car that was faster than the Corvette and eventually the Ferrari. Now we have inspired leadership. He knew he couldn't do it by himself, so he handpicked just the right team of designers and engineers and builders and drivers to get it done. Then the next equation was innovation. They adapted a number of both low-tech and high-tech innovative achievements to not only be competitive, but to win. Let me help you transition from controlling managers to inspired leadership. Dysfunctional work groups to high-performance teams, and outdated procedures to ongoing improvements. Think about it. It's a win-win for everyone involved. Now, when I started my presentation, I told you about how David defeated Goliath with a sling and a rock. The truth is, David carried 5 stones. It wasn't because he was a bad shot. It was because Goliath had brothers. Could you imagine going into your next battle with that level of faith, courage, and commitment? You would be unstoppable. In fact, you'd be a giant killer. I also told you that there's nothing better than having a once-in-a-lifetime moment all the time. There is one thing better. When you have the opportunity to extend one of those moments to bless somebody else. How will you change your thinking? How will you sharpen your aim? And how can you help someone else? Because your best opportunities shouldn't be what's happened in the past. They should be what's coming up next. Thank you. Thank you.
Gotta receive. Boom.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.